Good.
G'day, guys. This is Stat Chat Sports here. We're a brand new sports podcast with all sorts of sports across the globe. My name is Josh, and we've got the four of us here on the podcast. Who else? We've got BT. There you go, mate.
BT here.
TB, Tazza, what known as, mate?
That's me.
Yeah, TB, whatever you like. And Steve-O. How you doing?
Yep. Good, mate. Good. Steve's all right. We'll go with that.
Steve? Sorry, I shouldn't have been so confused.
No.
Anyway, my name's Josh as well. My name's Josh. Basically, we're going to be doing this podcast. We're going to be talking about all the different types of sports. So, we're Aussies. We love our cricket. We love our footy. We love lots of other things. But given we're Aussies, the thing that's about to start up quite quickly is the Australian Open.
There's one big topic I think we need to cover straight off the bat. We need to talk about the man of the moment. I think we need to talk about Novak Djokovic.
Sorry, I thought you were going to talk about Bernard Tomic there for a second.
Nah, we will get to Bernard Tomic. We will get to him.
Good.
Definitely. We've got plenty to talk about, but look, a world issue right now. Let's be honest. Novak Djokovic. What's your opinion? Should he be able to play? Should he be allowed in Australia at all?
I don't care whether he plays or not at this point. I think the one thing that we all know is that he's not going to be very well liked when he plays. There's a bit of reputation he loves out there for West Australian clubs and booing. I think that we're going to see one of the all-time great boos when Novak steps out for one game.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think he's probably been I wouldn't say polarizing, but he's had his detractors throughout the years. I mean, he's one of, if not the most successful tennis player ever, up with Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal. Yeah, absolutely. But I think the way he's carried himself, he can come across as a bit arrogant. And I think the way he's carried himself in this situation probably isn't going to help himself. The boos are going to be raining down.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty known that most Australians don't really like him.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a pretty good demographic here. There's four of us, and what is that? Is that 100% disapproval rating? I mean, that sort of speak volumes, does it?
Yeah,
disapproval.
So. I've never been a huge fan of him personally.
No.
I mean, just great player, obviously, but not taking that away from him. But yeah, I don't know, something about him as a person just seems a bit.
Yeah, it's just one of those guys.
Yeah. One of those guys you don't really have a reason, but you just not a huge fan.
Yeah.
The vibe. It's the vibe.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
So, look, we're recording this on Wednesday night. I think the week before the Open. So things might have changed by the time you're listening to this. But look, it looks like they're going to put him on a plane and send him home at this point, based on what's happened today.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I guess who is the next man up in the men's draw? Because I think the consensus amongst all of us would be he is a foregone conclusion to win it if he plays.
You would think so.
Yep. Although I think that potentially all of this, if he does play, or how all of this will affect him. I don't actually think if he was to play, I don't think he'd win. To be honest.
Oh wow!
I reckon. It's a big call, but I don't know. It'd be different to see how he copes with walking on the court with the entire crowd booing him. Like you said, even if the majority of Australia don't like him, when he plays, there's cheers for him because he's obviously a good player.
Yeah.
And the whole events of this last month and stuff like that might affect him a little bit, but I didn't have him down to win it personally.
No,
Nice.
Opposite.
Bold prediction.
Opposite.
Love it. I disagree as well. I think he's going to ride and go, stuff you lot. I'm coming out here. I'm going to take the title, take my 21st, and become the GOAT. I think that he just will not care in the slightest.
There you go. This is my prediction. drops no more than one set for the whole match, for the whole tournament.
Big call.
Jesus.
Oh,
Big call,
Dominates.
BT.
Absolutely dominates.
he is. If there is a player that feeds off criticism and just angst from the crowd, it's Novak. He's How many times he's shown us that many times he can overcome any sort of he can come up against the odds. So I think I don't think he's going to win, but I think he'll get damn close.
And he does love it down here. So first stat chat of the first podcast, just saying, Novak has won 9 of the last 14 Australian Opens. Just saying. He loves it.
Last 3 in a row as well.
Yeah.
Man's
Pretty
There you
big.
go.
Pretty
The
big.
last 15 have been 14 out of the last 15 have been Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic.
There you go.
That's pretty
and
good.
the other one, old Stan the Man.
Stan
the man, who sadly
Is he
will not
playing
be
this year?
partaking. No, he's not.
So what's happened to Stan this year?
Unfortunately injured, mate. Spewing. He's given us many moments over the years, but yeah, unfortunately, we have to do it without him this year.
Yeah.
Plenty of other exciting players coming in instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Time to get some of the others in there.
On exciting players as well. From an Aussie perspective, who are we looking forward to, both in the men's and the women's draw? Obviously, Ash Barty is clearly the great hope for Australia. But are there any other up-and-comers that we should be looking out for, guys?
I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot of the women Australian tennis players besides Ash Barty. But the men's, obviously, we've got Kyrgios. I think given his world ranking, he's probably still the best men's Australian tennis player, I reckon, on his day.
He's not seeded though, is he?
No, I don't think so, because he hasn't played for a while, because he ended his season early from an injury, I think.
He hasn't won an ATP match since July, so
Wow.
it's been 6 months since he's played some half decent tennis.
And he isn't playing any of the warm-ups, is he?
No.
He
was set to play the Melbourne.
COVID, isn't he?
Yeah, he was set to play the Melbourne Somerset. I think he had a bout of COVID and then withdrew with asthma concerns. Yeah, that's what I've seen. So, I mean, it's one thing after another. I mean, all the power to him, but it is one thing after another with Nick Kyrgios.
Yeah.
There's always one issue. Something's got to pop up. I mean, until he gets that out of his game, not out of his game, but out of his repertoire, I don't think it's ever going to fall into place for him, unfortunately.
He's got all the talent in the world, though, doesn't he? Like, that's the thing. I think we're going to be sitting here in 5 years' time and still going, geez, I reckon Nick, he could do it, you know. He's a chance. Because on his day, he'll beat anybody. But it's just
as far as talent goes,
ridiculous.
There's probably 5 other blokes in the world. Don't tell me to name them, but I reckon he's in the top 5 in talent. He's that good.
Here's a stat chat, another one for you.
Oh, yeah.
He's only the 3rd player in history to beat Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer. Did I say Federer, Nadal, Djokovic in the first time of playing him?
Yeah.
The other was Leighton Hewitt and another bloke that I've never heard of. So, that I think that proves that he's definitely a good player. It does.
It's a great stat.
Yeah.
Great stat.
What's our thoughts on Kokkinakis?
Oh, don't jump ahead, BT. I've got him down for my my most improved. I'm a big fan of Tanasi. He's in good form at the moment. He's had a good lead up. So I'll blow my gasket early. I think he's going to be the most improved, or one of the most improved players in the comp. He has not made the 3rd round of an Australia Open before. I think he breaks the duck and he gets there this year. He's had a really
he's always been
Adelaide, so he's in good form.
He's always been there or thereabouts, I feel.
Yeah. A lot of like 5-set matches and stuff like that.
Yep.
So for me, Tanasi is the guy. De Minaur could be a good chance. There's a couple of other guys that are floating around in the fires as well and the wild cards. But yeah, in all honesty, do we see any of the Australian guys going past the first week?
I'd say De Minaur's our best chance. Just he's coming off some pretty decent results in the ATP Cup. He's just Berrettini. He's just defeated him. Humbert as well. A decent victory over him. They're both top 30 guys. Berrettini's top 10. So he's coming in with a decent bit of form. His 2021 wasn't great. He did get a title in Britain pre-Wimbledon, but he was also bundled out in the first round at Wimbledon. So does that... Form's not always the greatest thing. Immediate form. But he'll have the crowd, and so will all the other Aussie guys. I mean, it seems they do better here than anywhere else in the world. So
it comes down to draw as well. What draw they get.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's massive.
It'll hurt these guys being unseeded. That's probably, I think it's the first year in a while that either Kyrgios or De Minaur haven't been seeded, which means they're going to face the good guys pretty early. So saying that they're going to make it out of the first week, probably not, given that.
It does make for some good primetime TV for us, though. So you got to be happy with that. With facing the big talent early, so always got to be happy with that. I guess one of the Aussie big names that obviously isn't going to be playing. I'm very disappointed for this man. Our mate Bernie. Out today. BT, your thoughts? The other BT, Bernard Tomic.
Well, it's certainly something, isn't it?
Does he sort of? Is he going to do anything with his career from this point onwards?
God no.
I mean,
he's
certainly saying over the hill.
I remember him saying that was it maybe a year ago or so, that he only goes to play these tournament stuff, get first round, whatnot, get his paycheck. That's it. He's been playing 6 years. So young.
Yeah, well, so young. Do you know how old this guy is? Closest without going around the board. Stephen, how old is Bernard Tomic?
I did see it today, but I can't remember it. I think he's 28, 29. I'll go 28.
I'll go 27.
I think I'm going to go with. I'm going to go a bit older. I'm going to go 31.
Surely can't be that old.
29. For me, the guy still feels like he's 23.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's been around that long. His first Australian Open main draw was 2009.
Jeez. He's been around a while, doesn't.
I know. You just feel like he's still, he's youth's on his side, but I think he's done. Like he was running around today looking like Justin Bieber with that shocking haircut. He's completely off it. You know what I mean? I think sadly this might be the last ride for Bernard.
I think he realised quite quickly in that first set that he was gonna lose. So he starts. It could be genuine, but he started to creep in the excuses of COVID and stuff, and in his presses he's saying that, like, don't be surprised if in the next couple of days I'm tested positive and stuff like that. I've seen some photos of him sitting on the benches in between sets with a towel over his face, and he's looking like it's like he's almost feeling sorry for himself, I suppose. But I don't know. I don't think he's. To be honest, put it this way, I don't care. I wouldn't care if we don't see him play again. To be honest, I'm not. Again, he's another player I'm not a huge fan of.
I think the rest of Australia would resonate with you there.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's really keen to see him on the circuit anymore. I mean, he's no good. He's an embarrassment, to be honest, in the country. He just makes us all look like idiots.
The media is just a bit disappointed they won't get to cover him for the next week. He's gone early, so
yeah,
probably
it'll be a couple of slow news days, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure.
So we haven't spoken much about the women's draw yet, so we do need to talk about Ash Barty, the great hope for Australia, looking to be the first Australian champion of the Australian Open since 1978.
That's a stat.
She's got a fairly
that
good,
long ago. Wow.
Yeah. Christine O'Neill back in 1978. So.
Oh yeah, I know her.
I think she's got a pretty good chance. Obviously, coming in as the favourite.
Yeah.
Are we all backing her here, or do we have any other, challenges in the women's draw?
I had her down to win, but there's definitely a couple in there that could easily push her, I reckon, 100%.
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion at all. She's had a great preparation. She breezed through the Adelaide International, the warm-up tournament, but she didn't really factor in the tour final, WTA tour final. My pick, actually, Muguruza. She won the tour finals. And I think that's quite a good indicator of where players sit coming into the first Grand Slam of the year. Because it essentially is. It's the top 8 players in the men's and the women's. I mean, it's the top. If you're winning that, I think you're looking pretty good.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum.
Is the pressure of a home crowd going to phase her, or do you think that she's got it covered? She's a cool customer. You know, she's won Grand Slams before. This is just the next step.
I feel like she's on the fence of that type of player that can crack under pressure, or it doesn't affect her at all. Like she crashed out the first round of the Olympics, where I think she was definitely going into that as the favourite. She didn't even win the first game. So I think at home, I think in Australia, I reckon she'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree with that.
I'd certainly love to see it, I'll tell you that much. We have done a little bit of homework before we got on this chat to come up with some players that we think would be sort of dark horses or most improved players. I sort of let mine slip a bit early with Tanasi Kokonakis. BT, most improved men's draw for you coming up this fortnight, and the women's draw.
Okay, well, I'll start off with the women's. Wouldn't have a clue. Don't follow it. Straight out, don't follow it.
Oh, come on, BT.
I know your top ones, but I'll definitely watch it. I'll definitely watch if it's on, but I'm not going to make a prediction on that one.
Yep.
All right, so on the males. All right, I've got this guy down for like dark horse, but also, I don't know, it's hard to say. I'm going with Rafa.
Most improved.
Purely based on his last 12 months, so being injured, hasn't done much at all. Then he's coming back we won the 2022 Melbourne Somerset one. Won that one, come back, he's looking like very fit. I'm watching some video on him today from the past 2 weeks, some training and whatnot. I think if Djokovic isn't there, I think a lot of talk's going to be on Rafa. Doesn't have that threat of facing Djokovic.
He'd be the big star of the show at that point as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the only member of the big three still in the comp, if of course Novak doesn't play.
So while doing my research today, hardly saw his name at all. No one's talking about him.
Oh, he's definitely flying under the radar. That's for sure.
Flying completely under. So
yeah, absolutely.
TV, most improved.
Look, most improved. I'm going with a homegrown guy. I'm going to go James Duckworth. He's a guy he's
he's
floating around. He's been around for a few years. He's not setting the world alight. And to be honest, no Aussie tennis player is. But I'm going to back in our boy. Well, yes. Okay. In the men's is what I'm talking about. But like, he had a decent showing. This is an ATP tournament in Paris, and he had, I think it was Batista Agut he beat, who's a top 20 guy. Like, that's a fairly decent result. But he hasn't been awesome in Grand Slams, but I think if there's one guy we can get behind other than Kyrgios and Demonar, I think Duckworth. He's risen through the rankings. He's in the top 50 now. And I mean, I don't think anyone really knew that. So,
no.
I mean, he's another one who's kind of slid under the radar. He might not have the Rafa appeal, but he's definitely coming up.
Where do you see his sort of, I guess, what's his ceiling? Where's the best you can see him getting in the next fortnight?
I mean, the round of 16 is probably out of reach. I'd say the 32 is good. I mean, if you're in the round of 32, you're in the 32 best players. You enter just inside the 50. I mean, you've definitely improved. I think that's. I can't see, depending on the draw, I can't see how he can't finish in the top 32. But yeah, don't think we're going to see him in the last 8.
No,
that's probably wishful thinking. But yeah, I mean, round of 32 would be a good result.
Nice. Steve, what about you? Who you got?
I've got another homegrown talent. Is it Popyrin or Popperin? How to pronounce his name? Popperin, yep.
Definitely rate him as well.
Yeah, when I was doing a little bit of research today, I liked what I saw on him. Basically, he won. He's only got one sort of tournament major. That was in February of 2021, Singapore Open. So unlike some of the other guys that don't have singles titles, he's got that under his belt. Ranked 61 in the world. It's not too bad either. I think he's one of the higher men for Australia. So
I think he's behind Duckworth. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the next best.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's young. He's young as well. And just another little stat. I mean, he's got decent records against some top players. He beat Tsitsipas at Paris. He's beaten Dominic Thiem, however you pronounce that. He's beaten Marin Cilic as well. So he's beaten like some top guys.
Somewhat of a giant killer.
Yeah, you could say. Yeah. He could be one of those ones that take out a couple along the way.
Open up the draw a bit.
Yeah. Same as what you said, Taylor. I don't see him going ridiculously far, but I mean, like a top 32 or top 16 would be his aim, I reckon, definitely.
100%. Yeah.
And he might have to knock off a couple of big names on the way, but he's proved that he can do it. So, he would be my most improved if he got that far, definitely.
He was my next one. If I didn't go Duckworth, it would have been Popper. So fully agree with you there.
Josh?
Yeah, very good. Like I said, I had Tanasi, but in the women's draw, I'm going with Coco Gauff from the US. She's 17. I think she's a Grand Slam winner. I don't know if she will do it at the Australian Open, but I think definitely a birthday on the card. Really primary. She's 12 months. They're ranking up. And she really challenged Barty in the Adelaide, just gone in the last week or so as well. So maybe I'm going with Coco as most improved and almost a dark horse as well. I think she can chance Oh, way. Any other,
Very nice.
yes, on dark horses, Taylor, you got a couple of dark horses in the men's and women's that you want to share with us?
I do, and I've picked probably the guy with the hardest name to pronounce, so bear with me here. So, Felix Auger-Aliassime.
I'll second that. I had him as my dark horse as well.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm not gonna lie. I had to look that up.
Yeah,
and I've practiced it. I feel like I did it fairly
Good
well.
job.
Thank you. No, his Grand Slam history isn't. It doesn't make for awesome reading, but he's had some really decent results throughout the year. He hasn't made a final yet, but he was the first Canadian men's singles semi-finalist in tournament history at the US Open last year. So I think he's
great stat.
So he's definitely. I mean, Canadian tennis is on the rise as well. There's a couple of guys in the top 20 there. The Denis Shapovalov. He's I think those two may have played in the ATP Cup together. So ATP Cup was one of the warm-up tournaments, and they claimed up.
Yeah, Felix was in. He was playing in the. Is it? Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but it's what the Hotman Cup used to be with the that one. I can't remember what it's called.
And they claimed up. Yeah. In the final, they destroyed the Spanish, and I mean, you generally don't class Canadian tennis as a powerhouse, but look where they are now. And I just think I remember he was quite good last year here, and I'm not sure exactly where he got to, but he's shown flashes, and I just think he's made his way up the rankings quite nicely. I think he could be primed for a decent run this year.
If I could just add to that, because obviously he's the same. That's who I had as well. I mean, I first saw him on watched him the other day at that tournament, and I was just by watching him, he looked all right. Hadn't really heard anything about him, and then again doing some research today, I realized I think he's number 11. Is he 11 or something like that ranked in the world at the moment? He's up there anyway. It might even be like top 15 anyway, something like that. Didn't realize he was that high because he's a young lad. So he's got it in front of him, I reckon. Looks like he's got his head screwed on as well. He's not like one of those cocky, I suppose.
The Kyrgios types.
Yeah. We'll say that. I like what I saw from him. So yeah, he was mine as well.
I got another dark horse, all right? This is a big one. COVID. You're not going to know what's hit him.
I'll be getting cut off halfway through, are we?
It'll be interesting to see if something happens.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Has there been precedent before? Like, have they just sort of forfeited matches if someone comes down with COVID? Is that the policy going in here?
Honestly, don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if you could forfeit matches. I feel like you need to. I don't know if you can call it whole
reschedule.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
Do you call the tournament null and void and move on?
Well, I don't know. Is it the same as coming down with an injury, so I can't play the next game? Like
maybe.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think that's a good call. Is COVID paying anything to win? I don't know. That's a pretty good shout.
Definitely,
that's a good one.
A couple of other dark horses that I had is a couple of veterans. I like Simona Halep in the women's draw. She's got some good finals experience.
I agree.
She made a quarterfinal or better in 5 of the last Australian Opens. I think she definitely back there, and I wouldn't be surprised if she goes on and gets the chocolates. And the men's draw, I love this guy. I think everybody loves this guy when he plays. Gael Monfils, 35 years old. He's been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
Number 17 seed coming in for the competition. Just won the Adelaide lead-in tournament well. He hasn't done well at the Australian Open for a long time, though. So he hasn't made the second week since 2010. I can see him, bit of energy, rejuvenated, in, and having himself a pretty good tournament. I'd love to see it anyway. It'd be very entertaining.
Love to see that.
He's always enjoyed to watch.
Definitely. Yeah. He's a showman.
Yeah.
I think Australia will get around a showman. They'll definitely show him some support. So, yeah.
And we need to have a few characters, because there's obviously a lot of people that are out because of injury or COVID. This is the first tournament where none of the Williams sisters have played since 1997. So, we've already mentioned a lot of the other injuries as well. There's a lot of stars that aren't there. So I think we have to get around the characters and the veterans that have been there for a while and are going to put on a good show.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, well, I think it's a pretty good wrap-up.
Have we,
on Aaron, Stephen, I've cut you off.
No, that's okay. Have we gone through our predicted winners?
Well, we should probably better do
that. We can't do the rest and not get to that.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Well, you obviously know I don't have Djokovic, which came a bit of a shock to some of his. But I've gone with Alexander Zverev. I've always been a bit of a fan of him. He's always there, right on the edge, I feel. But I mean, just as the years go by, he'll get better and better. I think this could be the year, especially if Djokovic doesn't play. I think this could be the year for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
He is coming off that. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. 16
and
go,
6. Mate. I was gonna
16 and 6 at the Australian Open. 34 and 13 on hard court.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Spicy.
One of the higher percentages.
Are you backing him in BT or you're on Djokovic as well?
I'm on both. They're my two.
In the final?
If Djokovic doesn't play, I'm with him or Nadal. Wouldn't be surprised if Nadal goes far, but also he could do another injury. You never know with Nadal. But I'm with him as well. I do like him. I think the hard courts with his big serve as well, sits back. Australian Open is normally a pretty fast court as well. So again, comes down to your draws and got to have that luck as well. And he's only 24.
Yeah.
Wow.
Still very young.
He's around for a while. T, who you got?
All right. I'm going for the number 2 seed, Daniel Medvedev.
Yeah.
I'm going to admit, a couple of years ago, I was not a fan. He had an arrogant streak. He's turned himself around. He's got himself primed, in my opinion, primed for a good run. He was in the final last year, lost to Novak. I think is he going to be what he was last year? In my opinion, no. I think Medvedev, this is his time. He was the runner-up to Alex Zverev in the ATP Tour final. So, I mean, Zverev is coming in with form. Medvedev is coming in with form. I just think Medvedev's got all the weapons. For a big bloke, he can throw the serve down. He gets around better than most big blokes. And I think this is his time.
I like it. I'm going to be pretty boring. I'm going to be pretty boring because I think Novak's got it, and I don't think it's even close. I think Barty to do it as well. I'd love to see it. So I'm going to back her in, and I think Naomi Osaka is going to be right there with her in the final.
Yeah. I like both of those.
Yeah. I'd back Barty too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Barty and Muguruza, and I think Barty can get it done. I'd love to see her win, obviously, but for some reason I just can't see her getting over that last hurdle. The home support's just going to be too much of a pressure for her. Yeah. I think the more she keeps going, the more she doesn't win, it's just going to load up. It's going to load up, and I don't know if she doesn't win it this year. I think she's well at the top of her game, but I just feel it's going to be too much. and I've got Muguruza taking it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Steve, you go.
Yeah, no, I had Barty. I don't. I know it sort of goes back on, I think, what I've mentioned on something earlier, that there's a few people up, few of the women's up there, but I think she'll take it. I think as the further she gets, I mean, she'll be playing on Rod Laver Arena. You would think every game, being the number one, she'll have all the support there. I don't think she'll crack under pressure of the crowd. They'll definitely boost her and give her a hand along the way. I think it's hers to lose. I reckon. I think.
BT, where
exact same as you, Joshy. Osaka and
Nice.
Marty. I think.
Keep it simple.
That would be a cracker of a game.
Oh, it'd be wicked.
That would be an amazing game to watch, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, we can't wait for it. It's all coming up next week. We'll probably do if we don't do another one of these sort of midway through the comp, I think we'll definitely be doing one to wrap it up or to preview the finals. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And, we're going to be on whatever social media platform or wherever you get your podcast. So make sure you look out for that, not just for the tennis, but for pretty much whatever other sport you're interested in. We are going to be covering it in a lot of detail. So we're really looking forward to it. And look, we'll see you next time. Do we have a catchphrase? I don't know. How are we supposed to end this? We're coming up with this on the fly.
Just say goodbye, I suppose.
Oh, that's one.
We'll see. Yeah.
Right.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.